Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for coming. We can start, yes? Yeah. Just as usual, before to start the session, let's try to adjust our minds, thinking that we are all very fortunate because we have been blessed by this precious human existence, which is endowed with 18 particular qualities. One of these qualities is that we have met the Buddha Dharma, okay? And we have interest in it. So on this basis, you see, even today, it's offered to us many possibilities to create the cause of a vast future happiness. So we should really delight in it, and we should feel very, very fortunate. But we also have to consider that this life will not last forever. Moment by moment, we're getting closer to death because we are born. So the other side of birth is death. Okay, this is natural, but the only problem is that we don't know when this death can arrive. Can happen tomorrow, can happen tonight, can happen next week, can happen in 10 years. We have no certainty. So this means that we should try as much as possible every day to extract the essence of this opportunity that we have gained. Okay, so in terms of extracting the opportunity, we have what we call on the basis of Dharma, on the basis of Buddha's teaching, we can actualize what we call the temporal happiness, or we can actualize the ultimate happiness. So in terms of temporal happiness, which is just like a good condition in cyclic existence, it is something that we are now experiencing, and we understand the limited aspect of it. It is completely unsatisfactory. We never pass a day without problem, difficulties, being disturbed in our body, being disturbed in our mind, and this goes without beginningless time, and it will have no end. Okay, so the only way to put an end to this conditioned existence by karma and affliction, it's to aim for the second type of happiness, which is called the ultimate happiness. And we can distinguish ultimate happiness first in terms of individual liberation or nirvana. So the key, the cause that we are experiencing those conditioned existence without choice is because we are mistaken with respect to the mode of existence of the person, the mind, and all other phenomena. So we have to understand that this ignorance and the mental affliction, the mental disturbance that arise in our mind are not part of the nature of the mind, and therefore the mind by nature is pure, and nirvana is the actualization of this primordial purity, the perception and the actualization of this primordial purity somehow. Okay, and in this way, by eliminating the causes of affliction, we can abide in unconditioned happiness. Okay, it is the mind just by its mere functioning just produce happiness and bliss. Okay, but we have to understand also the limited aspect of this, and we have to take all sentient beings into consideration, and this is related to the second type of ultimate happiness, which is the state of full enlightenment, the full culmination, to bring the complete purification of the mind and the development of all its qualities and potential. And this is only expressed in what we call the state of Buddhahood. Okay, so in this level of mind, so that not only the afflicted obscuration, the distortion of reality has been eliminated, but also the slight imprint of it that create a mistaken appearance. And all the quality are completely consumed, and in particular, the ability to bestow happiness and welfare on others. So the ability, the means, the perfection of the means to benefit others. So we should try to keep this in mind, thinking that all sentient beings have been with us since beginningless time. We have had all type of relationship. Some of us, we have all been a father, mother, brother, sister, companions, friends. So therefore, we should know that we are in this situation. We have the possibility to repay this kindness and this kindness of all sentient beings by developing our mind. So please think in this way, that through hearing, reflecting, and contemplating, may we quickly achieve this full potential, the state of Buddhahood, for the benefit of all sentient beings. And with this motivation, we can now read the Heart Sutra.
Сутра сердца совершенства мудрости. Поклоняюсь трем благородным, редким и высшим. Как я слышал однажды, Бхагаван пребывал в Раджагрихе на горе Коршуна с великой общиной монахов и великой общиной бодхисаттв. В то время Бхагаван погрузился в сосредоточение, исследующий перечень дхарм, именуемая видимость глубины. И в то же самое время бодхисаттва Махасаттва Арьявалоктешвара, рассматривая практику глубокой праджни парамиты, узрел, что и 5 сканг пустые от самобытия. Тогда достопочтенный Шарипутра, побуждаемый силой Будды, обратился к бодхисаттве Махасаттве Арьявалоктешваре с таким вопросом. Если какой-нибудь сын благородной семьи хочет приступить к практике глубокой праджни парамиты, как ему следует выполнять ее? На это бодхисаттва Махасаттва Арьявалоктешвара так ответил достопочтенному Шарадвати Путре. Шарипутра, те благородные сыновья или благородные дочери, что желают приступить к практике глубокой праджни парамиты, должны ясно и безупречно видеть и эти 5 скандх пустыми от самобытия. Форма есть пустота. Пустота есть форма. Нет пустоты помимо формы, и нет формы помимо пустоты. Также пусты и ощущения, развлечения, формирующие факторы и сознание. Так, Шарипутра, и все дхармы есть пустота. Не имеют отличительных признаков, не возникают, не исчезают, не загрязнены, не чисты, не ущербны и несовершенны. Поэтому, Шарипутра, в пустоте нет формы, нет ощущений, нет развлечения, нет формирующих факторов и нет сознания. Нет глаза, нет уха, нет носа, нет вкуса, нет осязаемого, нет харм, нет сознаний от зрительного до умственного. Нет неведения, нет прекращения неведения. И далее вплоть до того, что нет старости и смерти, и нет прекращения старости и смерти. Также нет страдания, источника, пресечения, пути, нет высшей мудрости, нет достижения и нет также недостижения. Поэтому, Шарипутра, поскольку у бодхисаттв нет достижения, они опираются на праджни прамиту и пребывают в ней. Поскольку в их сознании нет препятствий, нет и страха. Полностью отойдя от превратного, они тем самым достигают нирваны. Также и все Будды, пребывающие в 3 временах, явственно и всецело достигли полного, непревзойденного, наивысшего просветления, опираясь на глубокую праджни парамиту. А потому мантра праджни парамиты, мантра великого знания, несравненная мантра, мантра, равная непревзойденному, мантра, полностью успокаивающая все страдания, известна как истина, ибо она безобманна. Мантра праджни парамиты гласит Тадьядха, Ом Гате Гате, Парагате, Парасамгате, Бодхи Сваха. Шарипутра, так бодхисаттвы Махасаттвы должны изучать глубокую праджни парамиту. Затем Бхагаван, выйдя из самадхи, похвалил Арьявалоктешвару бодхисаттву Махасаттву. Превосходно, превосходно. У сын благородной семьи так и есть, так и должно быть. Именно так, как показано тобой, и следует практиковать глубокую праджни парамиту, ибо тогда возрадуются даже тадхагаты. Когда Бхагаван изрек эти слова, возрадовались достопочтенный Шарадвати Путра и бодхисаттва Махасаттва Арьявалоктешвара, и все собравшиеся вместе с богами, людьми, асурами, ганхарвами, и все восславили слова Бхагавана. На этом заканчивается Арья Бхагавати Праджня Парамита Хридая Сутра. И мы прочитаем прибежище, молитвы прибежища и зарождения Бодхичитты. Прочитаем 2 раза на русском языке и 1 раз на тибетском. Будде, дхарме и высшем собрании ищу прибежище вплоть до просветления. В силу заслуг от практики даяния и других парамид достану я Буддой на благо всех существ. Будде, дхарме и высшем собрании ищу прибежище вплоть до просветления. В силу заслуг от практики даяния и других парамид достану я Буддой на благо всех существ. Санги чоданг цоки чок намла, джамчук баду дакни кяпсучи, даге джинсо гипе цок намки, дрола пенчи санге друг пашок. И поднесем мандалу. эту умощенную благовониями и покрытую цветами землю, великую гору Меру, 4 континента, солнце и луну я представляю как поле Будд и подношу, да насладятся все существа-скитальцы жизнью в этой чистой земле. Саши Бöki Жункни Жинкмекток Трам Рираблинг Шини да Генпади Санге Шингду Миктел Улваи Джокю Намдак Шигла Чопашу Идам Гуруратна Мандалакам Нириатаями.
Okay. So, as usual, before we start the text, and there were one question as well, I want to continue this introductory section that underlined the necessity to work on our mind at different levels. So we have seen in the past 2 sessions the importance to check the mind, to be aware of the thought process and the intention and feelings and everything. In particular, we've seen how it is important to take care of the way we think, the way we conceptualize, because it produces feeling of happiness and feeling of suffering. And even though, you see, we might have a difficulty with someone, you know, when we go back home, we are in comfortable in our place, and the person is not there. There is no one to harm us. Nevertheless, we keep thinking, you know, oh, he did this, and that, and that, and that, and we suffer. But actually, you see, there is no one. It's just our mind that does that. So it is important to take care of the way we think. Okay, and we have seen also the importance to pay attention on how we perceive others. Not only how do we think in general, but how we perceive others, ourselves, and the environment, because we are in cyclic existence. Nothing is perfect, but to look everything in a positive light as much as possible, create a much more happy sense of existence. Okay, so this is a choice though. So if we always pick up, you see, the defect in everything, in the people and everything, then we let this appearance to arise in our mind, because this is the way we engage the object. So the object and the aspect we engage will dawn to our mind, and the problem is that the mind slowly build up an habit of seeing things in this particular way, and the mind gets very clear and very good in picking up, you know, faults and everything. And in this way, instant by instant, we allowed a very negative pictures of others and ourselves and the environments that arise to our mind, and that becomes a reality. You see, that becomes the reality. So it becomes very unpleasant to live in this world, to live in our shoes, basically, and we will also associate with others that share the same view. We never associate with others, you know, who have a different view, you know, because we always look for gratification. So we always associate with people who share the same view, and together we talk and we solidify this negative reality, and it makes the things even more unbearable. You see, even more difficult to live in this world. But this is a choice. Remember that this is a choice. We can slowly learn and take new habit and see things differently and see people differently. So this is one thing. And in this way, also, the mind will be happier, will be pacified, and will feel also benefit in our body. But those only 2 aspects, you see, do not allow to thoroughly pacify the mind. We can paying attention to the quality of the mind, and to have this type of mental hygiene, as this Dalai Lama used to say, and still saying. Okay, so we've seen with the history, you see, the benefit of the bodily hygiene. You see, we've seen the benefit. We feel much better, relationships are much better, and also we all live longer. We live longer because of sickness and everything. So there is a sense of better living in our body, of a good feeling arising from it, and benefit in a short and long term. It is the same with the mind. We should have a hygiene of the mind. We should keep the mind clean, the mind which is free from negative states in relation to ourselves and others, mental affliction like anger, like resentment, like jealousy, envy, like strong attachment, desire, because those mental attitude, they bring suffering. When they arise in the mind, they have the ability to sever the serenity of the mind, the peace of the mind, happiness of the mind. And when they grow, they will overpower the mind. And because every action arises from the mind, is initiated with intention inside of the mind, then automatically the action of body, speech, and the thought process will be under the power of this mental affliction, and will therefore leave like suffering potential for us in the future. Okay, so this is one thing, and to be able to completely stop this afflicted mental state, to completely stop attachment, aversion, resentment, jealousy, pride, envy, all of this mental affliction, there is the necessity to realize the nature of the mind. There is the necessity to realize the mode of existence of the person and all phenomena. Okay, so we need to develop this supramundane vision, this understanding of reality. So it will come later in the text, but you see, so we have to work at a different level. Ethic, to have an ethical way of life, will somehow, through body, speech, and mind, will somehow pacify a little bit the mind, and it will say defamiliarize the mind with a certain with affliction, and we will slowly get new habits. So there is a pacification which is experienced there. With the development of meditative stabilization and the training of the mind, there is a more deeper level of pacification, which is also brought up to the non-manifestation of the affliction. There is not the uprooting of the affliction, but there is a non-manifestation of the mental affliction. And finally, if we really want to uproot this distortion of reality and all the affliction that arise based on this distortion of reality, we need to realize emptiness. Okay, so mental affliction like attachment, aversion, pride, jealousy, etc. We have a 6 root and a 20 secondary. We all have those. They are like a logical answer. They're like completely logical answer to a way of perceiving and conceiving reality, because everything appears as having an objective existence, as existing autonomously or independently over there. Everything seems to appear existing by way of their own nature, by way of their own characteristics. The mind pick up this, follow this mode of appearance and believes in it, and therefore the mind will see things being from their own side attractive or from their own side repulsive, and consequently will develop attachment and aversion. So the mental affliction are just the logical answer to a mistaken way of conceiving things. So it will come later in the text when we will have to view this section where there is we have to come to realize the contradiction between the mode of appearance and the mode of abiding, the mode of existing of things. Okay? Without understanding this contradiction, this dichotomy, we cannot free ourselves from the mental affliction. We can pacify the mind, but we cannot attain liberation. Okay, so it will come later in the text. So now there were a question that have been sent to me. So the question was how to practice reflection based on wisdom step by step after listening to the teachings if there is no one to debate with. Okay, so yeah. So there is so there's two things here. One is you can always find like, for example, like there's like 22 people, 22 participants. You can always find someone to discuss. It is very important. Okay, more than 50% of the process of understanding and learning is based on talking with others. For us, debate is not possible because debate is a very particular format. We need to to debate, you need to memorize the root text. You need to learn how to do the debate. The debate, you use the syllogism, and you have to study all of this logic of this procedure, and you need to know the three modes of the syllogism, and you have to. It requires like a training over a certain period of time, but more or less, overall, it requires also to memorize, because when you debate, you cannot look at the text, and everything has to be pop, has to flow naturally. So for us, what it is better is to do discussions, okay? And it's very important to do discussions. So as I said, there's 22 people. You should organize session where you physically you can meet at the center, for example, or if you're a little bit distant, you can meet online, and then you discuss the material. You take one stanza, and you say, oh, it's been explained like this. I don't understand this. According to me, it's like this. What do you think? Oh, no, I think it's like this. So you see, you discuss, and the scope of this discussion is to bring more clarity, more understanding, and eventually to correct your own understanding, because we have 22 people listening, and there's 22 understanding of what I say, basically, or 22 understanding of the text. You see, some people understand like 50%, some people 10%, some people 80%, and some people understand properly, some people understand incorrectly. So there is a need to come together, you see, to complete the understanding, you need to expose your view. According to me, it's like this, no, because blah, 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 blah. So you see, you need to do that, because it will solidify your understanding, and it will clear away misunderstanding if you have not understood properly. So it clarified and complete the understanding. And so it is very important that you guys do a discussion. Very important. And there should be one person say controlling that the discussion remain on the topic. You see, remain on that. At some point, you guys not talking about the weather or vacations or this type of things, or the difficulty at work, So it has to, because we are all very busy, and we come together and discuss the Dharma or learn about Dharma. It's very, very precious time, and it's very little. Therefore, we have to make sure that it is very used in an efficient manner. Okay, so this is it's important. It is something that you should do. Okay, and then another thing is when you are by yourself. So far we haven't touched. You see the different reasoning to establish emptiness and this kind of things. So we haven't gone into those things too much. So this is where all the main reflection has to be made. So you have to drill, you have to go yourself through the reasoning and think. Basically, contemplation, you see, reflection is just a session of study. It is a session of study. You take the text, and then you think you should try, to be able to, when you take a stanza, to be able to explain to yourself all the different words one by one, see, and the sentence, and then the whole paragraph. You see, so you try to generate an understanding of every single word and the sentence and the complete paragraph. Okay, and once you have done this work for yourself, then everybody is ready to come together and to share understanding and to discuss understanding. And also, you should read as much as you can. You should never be satisfied with what I say, because it is partial. It is partial for many different reasons. For the time, because we have little time, because my understanding is not complete, because of so many things, you see. So you should read as much as you can on the topic. You see, you have to complete, and so in this way, the more you read and the more you reflect and discuss with others, the more your understanding will grow and clarity will grow. Okay, so this is something important. So now, in terms of what we have discussed so far together, we have put a great emphasis on trying to check the mind and understand in the mind. So far, understand in the mind what are the type of thought, the type of mental event that produce happiness and that produce suffering. So this is something you have to experience for yourself. You have to sit and you have to start to look at your mind. See, you have to come to you have to become intimate with your mind, with its functioning, how do my mind is familiar? What is the main problem that I have? Is my main problem attachment? Is it pride? Is it aversion? Is it this mind is always, criticizing, everybody, So you have to come and listen to your mind. So you just sit and you just, relax. You don't try to control anything. You don't try to judge. You just listen to your mind. See, you just observe the type of thought. You can even do that, open-eyed, eyed open. You just look at the different thoughts, and you try to understand. You see, oh, is this attachment? Oh, is this aversion? Oh, is this? You see, you have to do that, and it will help you by starting by doing this. It will help you to, and also with the feeling. See, it will help you to put like a buffer zone between between yourself and your mental activity. You see, the problem is that we have this cognitive fusion with the thought process, and we think that it is the self that produces the thought. You see, that I produce my thought. The thought is, and there is a complete identification. So that's the problem. Due to that, we have no way to add. Yes, you have no. So by starting to understand that thoughts, it's just something that arises in your mind without any intention, that there is no producer of thought, there is no thinker. There is just the mental consciousness, and that arise, in a particular aspect due to some imprint and potentialities, and then one thought trigger the next. See, and so it will help. So this is something that we can do, and we can also try to. It would be good if you can get, the understanding of what the different mental affliction are, and try to get their definition and try to recognize them. Because one thing, is we cannot work on our mind because we don't recognize the mental affliction, because we don't know what are the affliction. We don't know what attachment is. How does it work? We have to be like someone who is interested in bird watching. This person who is interested in bird watching is always looking at birds, with like big binocular. You say, okay, where do they stay? Where do they go? What do they eat in winter? What do they eat in summer? It comes to have very, very good knowledge of that particular type of bird. All the movement, all of this habit, food, So basically, we have to be like this with our mind. So we have to, and So for that, we need to study the different mental affliction, understand the identity, and be able to recognize it when it arises in our mind. And therefore, we will really understand at that point. See, we will really come to experience the suffering that arises, that is linked to that particular mental event. And then slowly it will come very clear that as long as we have not uprooted those particular state of mind, then happiness is impossible, completely impossible. For us, being happy right now is like a beggar who wants to invite everybody at the restaurant. It's a nice idea, but it's not possible. So our mind is full of this because, and I say, we are all the same. We have all the same mental affliction. We have all the same problem, and everything it comes down to the misunderstanding of reality, because we conceive an existence by way of its own nature, then an existence by way of its own characteristics. Then automatically, based on that, afflictions arise because the attachment and aversion they develop based on the reification of existence, and they work simultaneously with it. They have the same object of the mode of apprehension. You see, attachment, the mode of apprehension of attachment is the inherently existent pleasant object. For aversion is a inherently existent repulsive object. So therefore, you see, it is normal to have this, to be so neurotic and agitated and stressed and confused and tired and exhausted. You see, it is because our mind is not functioning well, and this also leads us to the what Maitreya has. When you talk about at the beginning of the Lamrim, there is this section on how to listen to the teaching. There is the section on how to teach, but there is also the section how to listen to the Lamrim, and how to the teaching of the Buddha in general, the Dhamma in general. And we should develop the I think it's six or five discrimination. We have to consider, and this is brought by also underlined by Maitreya. He said we should consider ourselves as a patient. We are sick. You see, we have the sickness of cyclic existence. We have distortion of reality. We are completely we are hallucinating from the morning on up to the evening. You know, so we should consider ourselves as a patient. We should consider the Buddha as the perfect doctor. See, as the doctor, the Dhamma as being the cure, and the Sangha as being the nurse. You see, the one who helps, administrating and we should develop the discrimination that the Dhamma abide forever. I think I missed one somewhere. I missed one. This is sometimes. Let me check if I can find it quickly. Otherwise, it is something that we'll correct next time. Yeah, you have to consider yourself as a sick person. Consider the Dhamma. Oh yeah, the Dhamma as the supreme medicine. It's like this. The Dhamma is the supreme medicine. The Buddha is the supreme doctor. The Sangha is the nurse, and your practice is the cure. You see, that's the confusion here. The practice is the cure, okay? And to have the discrimination that the Dhamma abide for a long time, until the end of cyclic existence. So you see, most of the time, so you see, it's not enough to go to the doctor and to get like a receipt. You see, to get the receipt of the recipe with all the medicine, and to go to the pharmacy and to buy the medicine. You have to take it. Yeah, just to have the medicine at home is not enough. So in terms of the Dhamma, we have books, we have plenty of things, but this is not enough. Yeah, just to be satisfied with listening to the Dharma is like you take your box of medicine and you just read the composition. There is X amount of this, X amount of that, X amount of. So you have to take the medicine for it to be effective. And it is the same with the Dharma. What is the cure? The cure is our practice. Okay, and and you remember we talk about the three jewels, and we've said that the most important, the real refuge is the Dharma jewel, which is true path and true cessation. So up to, of course, true path and true cessation is something far away from us. But how do we connect with this right now? We connect with this by our practice. Our practice is our refuge. And because it is our practice that will alleviate the difficulties and the suffering in the mind. Okay. So this is something that, yeah, I don't know. I deviated. Okay. Anyway, so that's it. So let's go back to the text. Sorry. Yeah. So we are on stanza number 7. So remember, we are looking at the. We are. Let me check. Yeah, the actual instruction, and we are looking at the general advice concerning the virtuous practice, and we have seen the stanza number 4 is about the six remembrance or the 6 recollections, and we have seen, so this goes to stanza 4, 5, 6, and then we have the stanza 7. This is where we are. Okay, and the stanza 7 emphasize the morality. Okay, the morality as the root of the path toward liberation. And it says, you must entrust yourself to ethical discipline that are not compromised, not debased, not corrupted, and not transferred. It's been said that ethical discipline is the foundation of all the good qualities, as is the earth for everything moving and unmoving. Okay, so this is just to emphasize the perfection of the practice of morality. And exactly, it said exactly as the earth is the basis, it is the support for everything. Based on the earth, you can build houses, you can build towns, everything grows, you see, on this earth. In the same way, morality is the basis, is the foundation to develop all the other qualities of the past, you see. So even in terms of the 3 higher trainings, you have the 3 higher trainings in ethic, the 3 higher trainings in concentration, and the second higher, the third second higher training in concentration, and the third higher training in wisdom, and one depend on the other. You see, this higher training in wisdom is the understanding of reality. It is linked to an axe, a very, very sharp axe, and you want to cut the tree of cyclic existence, and this trunk is very, very strong. So that very sharp wisdom need to be held by a very strong arms, you see, and those very strong arm is the stability of the mind. Okay, so the higher training of wisdom, it is sustained, supported by the higher training in concentration. Without a strong concentration, we cannot focused mind on a particular aspect, and therefore penetrate the nature of things. In the same way that this very sharp axis, you need to hit the same spot again and again, and for that you need very strong arms, and that's the concentration. And that very strong man that yield this axe has also to stand on the very stable ground. Okay, if it's the muddy condition, like whatever, the ground is not stable, but somehow you can sink into it. So it won't work. So the ground where his stance has to be very firm, and that's the higher training of morality. Okay, so without the higher training, without morality, it's not possible to develop concentration, and without a concentration, it's not possible to develop this perfect wisdom that go and cut the root of cyclic existence. Okay, so this is why it is here. It is the basis for all quality, but also in terms of the quality of love, compassion, and bodhicitta. You need a more stable, and in particular, you need a more subtler mind to develop this quality of great compassion and bodhicitta. Okay, right now the mind is too fragmented. It's too chaotic. It's always between attachment and aversion, and you can see that when you go down the street. You see, you meet people, you see cars, you see shops and everything, and the mind is always, oh, I like, oh, I don't like, oh, this is nice, oh, this is always, attachment, aversion. So it is very difficult, see, to it's very difficult. So we have to gain slowly in control, and we start by controlling. We will see later, I think next page. We start to control the activity of the body because it's coarser, because it's easier. Then based on that, we can control also the next level, which is the speech, which is a little bit more difficult. And then this will help us finally to gain control over the mind. Okay, so it is something progressive. So here it starts with morality, and the morality, basically, it's when we talk about morality, we talk about the 10 non-virtuous action, the 3 of the body, the 4 of the speech, and the 3 of the mind. Okay, so I think you got the chart, and we talked about that last week, and it will come again. Okay, so here it's the morality. It has 4 attributes. There's 4 attributes that are mentioned. And those 4 attributes are not compromised, not debased, not corrupted, and not transferred. So what does that mean? Without degeneration, okay, not compromised can be translated also, and not without degeneration. Mean that it is a morality that's very stable, in which there is no mistakes that comes too often. You see. For example, we all make mistakes, and we will still make mistakes until we have like a serious training, and that's not a problem. Okay, it's normal. But here, so we should aim, you see, to achieve a type of morality which is not, which does not degenerate, which is stable and always increasing. There is no error in terms of conduct, basically. So this is in terms of, at all levels, in terms of the 10 non-virtuous action. And for those who have acquired the precept of refuge, vows of individual liberation, vows of the bodhisattva conduct, or the vows of tantra, then they have like so many different levels of ethic to take care. Okay, and we should try that it remain, without degeneration, or as soon as we realize that we have make infraction, then we should apply the 4 opponent powers and restore our level of ethic. And then the second one is undebased. Undebased means that it has to rely on antidotes. Okay? It has to rely on antidote. So constantly we should cultivate antidote to attachment, cultivate antidote to aversion, cultivate antidote to pride, ignorance, etc. Okay, so those antidotes, they are like specific or they are universal. For example, the specific antidotes, they are a little bit like a band-aid. When you scratch yourself, you stick something on your skin. You see, so it heals, but it's not final. Okay, it's not final. So, for example, in terms of to cultivate antidote to aversion, is to rely on the development of love and compassion. So you meditate on love and compassion, and you accustom yourself, and in this way, aversion gets slower, 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 more and more feeble, more and more feeble. But it does not uproot. See, it does not uproot aversion. And with attachment, you have to contemplate the defect of the object of attachment. You have to contemplate the defect of cyclic existence in general, and you have to go specific. You have to contemplate the defect of the object of your specific attachment. For example, we have the supreme object of attachment is the body of others. Okay, so and so that it will come later. You have to go and really understand if it is so that nice, if it is that pure, that attractive, and if it really can bring the level of happiness and we hope for. Okay? So see, every affliction has a particular antidote that you need to learn, and you need on a daily basis to contemplate those, and you have to start with the one you have the most problem. So some people, due to we all have the same affliction because we all have the conception of true existence, but some of us, because of familiarity and predisposition, we are more prone to attachment, others to aversion, others to pride, others to ignorance, you see. So you have to understand yourself. And the universal antidote is to realize emptiness. So if we cultivate emptiness, then it weakens all the afflictions simultaneously. Yeah. And it can be only uprooted. All the affliction are uprooted by the understanding of emptiness. So it is supposed to be, it's considered to be the universal antidote. And then the next attribute of the it is what it is not compromised, not corrupted. Not corrupted means means it is not. We try to prevent as much as possible the development of root and secondary affliction. Okay, so our ethic should not be contaminated by attachment, aversion, the 5 root affliction, and the 6 root affliction, and the 20 secondary affliction. Okay, and then finally it says not transferred. Not transferred means the other way to say that would be untainted, and it means that the final aim of our practice, and in particular in this context, is ethic, is to attain liberation, is to attain nirvana, or the state of Buddhahood, is to attain the ultimate goodness. Is not for temporary benefits like rebirth in cyclic, higher rebirth in cyclic existence. That would be tainted. That would be transferred somehow, tainted, we can say also. Okay, so the aim of all of this, it at least to attain the complete emancipation from suffering. Okay, so that's the meaning here. And then they have the stanza number 8. The stanza number 8 presents the mode of the practice, in particular of the path of the bodhisattva. So the stanza number 7, where presenting the way to train in morality, which is the root of liberation. Okay, and the stanza number 8 is the way to practice the path of the great being, of the bodhisattva. You remember the teaching of the Buddha, he has those 2 aspects. He has 2 vehicles, 2 yana. He has the Hinayana, the individual vehicle, and Mahayana, the universal or the great vehicle. The difference between them, it is in the Hinayana you aim. The final aim is the individual liberation, while in the Mahayana the final aim is the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of others. See, it is anchored and is rooted in great compassion. So there is an emphasis in compassion and altruistic activities in the great vehicle. In the great vehicle. So it says you must entrust yourself to ethical discipline that the 8 is the Six Paramitas: generosity, discipline, patience, perseverance, mental stability, and likewise discriminating awareness are the immeasurable, far-reaching attitude. Expand them and make yourself into a powerful Lord of the Triumphant, who has reached the far shore of the ocean of compulsive existence. This is I'm not accustomed to that vocabulary. I have to look back to my text because I miss things. Okay, so I have a different translation in English that I'm based on. Okay, so here we have the sixth perfection. So perfection, you see, means in Sanskrit is paramita. Literally, it means gone to the other shore. So the sixth transcendence, or the sixth gone to the other shore. What is this other shore or transcendence? Is that transcends cyclic existence. It is on the other side of cyclic existence, and therefore, to really be a perfection, to really transcend, it has to be accompanied, of course, by the mind of bodhicitta. Okay, by the mind of bodhicitta, but then it just make like a mundane practice. But to be really a transcendence, it has to be accompanied not only by bodhicitta, but by the understanding of emptiness. Okay, it is only when it is accompanied by the understanding of emptiness that the practice and sustained by the mind of bodhicitta, then the practice of giving, morality, patience, etc., they become like a perfection. They become like a paramita. So in terms of a perfection, paramita, we can look at it in two ways. We can look at it as a result, or are the means to actualize that particular result. And there were like a great, there is a discussion in terms of the treatise where to see if the actual perfection, they exist only at the time of the result in the state of Buddhahood, or if they exist also at the time of the past. And according to the Prasangika Madhyamika, the fully qualified perfection exists also at the time of the past. So from the first ground, which is the path of seeing, and the Bodhisattva realized emptiness for the first time, that from that point onward, the surpassing practice of the perfection is established. And on each ground, the Bodhisattva has 10 ground. Okay, so normally there is 10 perfection, but the last 4 are subsumed into the 6th one. And at each ground, the Bodhisattva actualize, when he reached the ground, it actualized a surpassing practice of a particular perfection. And it starts with generosity, which is the easiest one. Then on the second ground is morality. On the third ground is patience. On the fourth ground is joyous efforts. On the fifth ground is concentration. And on the sixth ground is wisdom. Okay, so why are they presented in this order? It is because it goes from the easiest to actualize to the most difficult one. See, the Bodhisattvas is conditioned. He conditioned himself to the thought, and his desire, exclusive desire, is only to alleviate the suffering of others and to make them happy. So what is the easiest way to make others happy is with generosity, giving. So generosity, the entity of generosity is the mind of giving. And we can distinguish 3 types of morality, of generosity. We can distinguish 3 or 4 types, depend. Okay, we can distinguish the giving of material things, okay, which is the easiest one. Basically, it's to share your possession. We have the morality, the generosity of protection. You protect others from fear. You see, so you protect the life of others, of animals, for example, that would be slaughtered, or you simply protect others from fear. or of when they are depressed, etc. You offer the comfort. Okay, that's the type of protection here. And then we have the protection, the giving of dharma. The giving of dharma is, of course, to share with those who are interested the teaching of the Buddha, but in general is to share any knowledge that you have of any skill that you have with someone who wants to learn it. Okay, language, cooking, whatever. Okay, and in Tantra there is also this. They add also the giving, the generosity of love, is to contemplate and to develop and embrace everybody in loving kindness. Okay, never separated by loving kindness. Okay, so so you see, this is the first reaction that you would have to make someone happy is to give. Is the easiest one. Okay, and then at the second ground come the perfect surpassing practice of the perfection of morality. What is morality? Is entity of morality is the mind that wants to protect. Protect what? Protect one's own ethic. Protects one's own protects oneself from downfalls. You see, it's that's the entity of the mind. And in the great vehicle, we distinguish three types of morality. There is the morality of refraining from non-virtue. There is the morality of gathering virtuous activity, and there is the morality of benefiting others. Okay, so that the three types of morality of the Bodhisattva. And you see, morality comes second because as I said, you have the wish to make others happy. So it starts with generosity, and then the next level is to stop harming them. You say, okay, it's okay to make them happy, but you have to stop to harm them. And this is accomplished by morality, because if we take the 10 non-virtuous action, the one of body and speech, they are only action done in relation to others: killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh word, gossip. All of this, it is when it is performed, there is a harm for the others. You see, so therefore, at that level, the Bodhisattva also it comes the surpassing practice of morality, and there is refraining from any behavior that harm others, and also refraining this wish to keep one's own morality, and then on the third ground come patience. What is patience? Patience, it is the entity of a non-disturbed mind. You see, patience is not like, for example, when you wait for the subway or for the bus, you see, and you're a little bit late, and then the train or the bus is also a little bit late, and therefore you start to be agitated inside. You say, but externally, you see, you don't manifest sign of being agitated, or when someone, for example, criticize you, and okay, so you hurt inside. Okay, you're hurt, but you don't say. Okay, this is not patience. This is ethic. Patience is the mind is undisturbed. Whatever happened, the mind is undisturbed. Everything slide. You see, everything slide. It's very difficult. Everything, the external things do not aggravate the mind. That's patience. Okay. And we can distinguish different type of patience. We have the patience, you see, that disregarding harms being done to oneself. Is the mind is not affected by the harms that other people can do to us. For example, because we are social animals, you know, we live with each other, you know, and we are all afflicted beings. It means that we have the distortion. We suffer from cyclic existence. You see, we have distortion of reality. We are always, all the time, overwhelmed by many different type of delusions. So basically, from time to time, it's like fire. You see, you get burned, and it is normal. Okay, it is normal. Also, sometimes we try to benefit others, and it's not the way, and that people are unsatisfied, or it is not enough, or whatever. So there is this mind, you see, that slide on all of this. So it's not affected by all of this. So this is one type of patience. The other type of patience is accepting suffering in general, the suffering of life. You see, the suffering of sickness, the suffering of external condition. They become difficult or whatever. So the mind is not affected. Okay, it is undisturbed. And then the third type of patience is the cultivating cultivating a certitude about Dharma. It means that in terms of our Dharma practice, or in terms of our study, for example, to understand emptiness, it is something that takes time. It takes difficulty. There is difficulties arising on the path due to putting things into practice, due to trying to change our mind, to trying to change our habits, due to trying to develop qualities and new attitude, and also in terms of understanding the final view, of reality, and understanding the nature of the mind. It's difficult. It is very subtle. It takes a lot of time and patience, and perseverance. You see, and perseverance. So therefore, that's the three division of patience. And why it comes third position after ethic? Because, as I said, the desire is to benefit others and to make them happy. Therefore, we have generosity. Therefore, you stop to harm them. And next to that, come patience. Come patience, because you do not retaliate, but due to the understanding of the nature of suffering of every sentient beings, and due to being moved by the desire to benefit them, then you disregard the harm done by others. You disregard the difficulty. Everything slides on the mind on the surface of the mind of the bodhisattva. So this is why patience comes third. Okay, and then you have the joyous effort. Joyous effort, the entity of that is the mind that delights in virtue. You see, joyous effort is not just like effort. For example, you make effort at your workplace to get more responsibilities, or you make a lot of effort, I don't know, to study for some exams or whatever. Yeah, according to Dharma, this is not joyous effort. This is laziness. Laziness. Okay, so the joyous effort, it is the mind that delights in virtue. Okay, so we should be like this. You see. Like a child. You see, when you see a child playing with toys, new toys and everything, it's never enough. It is never enough. He wants to play more. He wants to get to another game and everything. So with respect to virtue, we should be exactly like this. We should never have enough to accumulate virtue, to study, to meditate, to purify negativities, and to accumulate virtue, etc. So in this way, okay. So in terms of joyous effort, we can distinguish also three division. We have the armor-like joyous efforts. We have and what is this armor-like joyous efforts? Is the bodhisattva, before entering into any type of activities, it dons the armor of joyous efforts. What does that mean? It means like whatever it takes to whatever it takes in terms of times, in terms of effort, whatever, to complete the task. There's no problem. Okay, so before entering into anything like study, like a particular task or whatever, it dons the armor of joyous efforts. So up to the end. Okay? And then we have the effort gathering virtue. Okay, this is linked to the practice of the sixth perfection, and you have the joyous effort of acting for the welfare of others. Okay, so those are the different type of delight in virtue. Okay, and so why does it comes also after patience? Because the mind, with patience, the mind being able to discard harms, you see, to discard the suffering that arises due to difficulties of the task, of the circumstances, and whatever, the mind being undisturbed by this, then this joyous effort, this delight in virtue, whatever, whatever takes place, it can arise. Yeah. And then finally, and it's not finally, the fifth one is concentration. So the entity of concentration, it is the single focused mind on virtue, on the virtue subject, a single pointed mind on the virtue subject. Okay. So with this, we also have divisions of concentration. There is different way to divide concentration. You have a concentration which is developed by the bodhisattva to abide in bliss in this life. You have the concentration to achieve good qualities. You have concentration that causes the welfare of others. This is the possible division. There are others, you see. So why does it arise also at that time? Because joyous effort has been brought to a surpassing practice. There's this delight in virtue. Therefore, there is no giving up. There is no being discouraged, but only pursuing, only carry on the training with great delight, and therefore concentration can arise. Concentration is brought to its perfection as well. And then finally, we have the wisdom, and the entity of wisdom is the mind that thoroughly discriminates. That's the entity of wisdom, and the mind that thoroughly discriminates. And we can also have different divisions. We can talk about the thoroughly discernment with respect to the ultimate, the mind that thoroughly discriminates the ultimate mode of abidance of things. And we have also a division, which is the mind that thoroughly discriminates the conventional, the complete understanding of the subtle conventional truths. And we have the wisdom also that thoroughly discriminates the means to benefit others. Okay, those are possible divisions of wisdom. Or you can also talk about mundane wisdom and a supramundane wisdom, and you can do the same for the concentration. You can develop about the mundane concentration and a supramundane concentration. That also are divisions. Yeah. So why does it arise at that time? Just because it is in relation. It is held by the surpassing practice of concentration, being held, sustained by that perfection. Then the perfection of wisdom can arise. Okay. So develop this. It says develop this. The text goes back and says, expand them and make yourself into a powerful Lord of the triumphant, like the conqueror. The conqueror. It is an epithet, an attribute of the Buddha. The Buddha is also said to be the conqueror, because he has conquered, he's a victor. He's conquered all the mental affliction. So he is the Lord of the conqueror. Okay. And having reached the far shore of the ocean of existence, here, I don't know if it appears. Yeah, having reached the far shore of the ocean of compulsive existence. So compulsive existence is just samsara. This is the vocabulary used by the translator of the text. Just cyclic existence, basically samsara. So the far shore of the ocean is see those perfection. They are held by the understanding of emptiness. So therefore they go beyond the view of the world. So what does that mean for those practice to be held by wisdom, or the understanding of emptiness? And it is something that we should try also on a daily basis to do when we practice generosity, or when we practice ethic, or whatever we do. We should try to associate the practice with the corner of a mind, with the understanding of the emptiness of the three spheres. What are the three spheres? It is the agent, the person, okay? The action of giving or the gift, the action of giving, for example, and the object that receive the gift. So we should try to associate slowly all of our practice, everything we do, with this understanding that the three spheres of the action are empty after existence, that they do not exist the way it appears. It's like in a dream. You see, in a dream, when during this oniric state, due to imprint, the mind is produced into a certain aspect, and there is an agent, there is interaction, there is many adventures in the dream, and it seems real when you're dreaming. You see, you can be scared for your life, you can fall in love, you can go skiing, you can go to the beach, you can eat, you can drink, and everything seems real. Okay, but actually it is not. It's completely it's made up. It's made up of the substance of the mind. So things appear real to the dream, but actually they are not. It's only when you wake up that you understand how illusory or completely the mistakes of adhering, of following this dream, see, as real. And in the same way, when we understand emptiness, we understand the illusory aspect of our existence and of all existence. It means that things appear in one way, but exist in a different way. So what does that mean? It means that things appears to be true, to be real. Things appear to be real, concrete, and existing, cut off at a distance, cut off from our mind at a distance over there. You see, over there, there's a table over there. There's a but actually, when we understand emptiness, we understand that phenomena are empty, deprived of this autonomous, objective mode of existence. Okay, this comes slowly. Yeah. So so we, for example, when we have to start. See, we have to start small, but we have to start. So, for example, if you guys you do offering in the morning in your altar, you see, while you do this offering of candles, offering of water, whatever, you have to, motivated by bodhicitta, you have to start to bring to the mind that understanding that the one who is giving, the object, Buddhas, etc., and the action of giving are empty after existence. They are dependent arising. Okay, they are dependent arising. We'll come back to that. Okay, and that's it for the stanza here. So now we move to the next section of the text. Is instruction directed primarily to householders. Okay, so this is the second instruction for householders. Okay, and this goes from the stanza number 9, and it will go to up to stanza 35. There is a series of advice primarily for people who have a family life. Okay, a family life. And then after, it becomes like a section on advice for both family life. Those are lay people and ordained people. Okay, so the first one, stanza number 9, says, any family in which the father and mother are honored will be together with Brahma and together with teacher, and they'll become renowned for honoring them, and afterwards as well will attain rebirth in a higher status. Okay, so this is an advice. I mean, if someone, for example, is intended to lead like some kind of spiritual life and develop qualities of love, compassion, etc., then he has to start, with the people that have raised you, basically, that have raised us, the father and mother. That's the first basis to repay kindness. Okay, that's the first basis, the father and mother that give us this body and education and and the nurture during our childhood, etc. Okay, so actually, any decent human being, see, before starting to develop a spiritual life, has to develop the sense of depth and kindness toward his father and mother. Okay, so that's the basis. Also, in terms of karma, the karma gained weight in terms of your mental attitude. Of course, we will see that later, but also in terms of the support of activity, the support that received the activity. If it's, for example, people who have benefited you, then the action become more heavy. It can be a good action or it can be a negative action. Then it is heavier if that person, you see, has benefited you. And in terms of benefiting us, you see, due to the karmic connection that the father and mother, they give us this body, and on the basis of that body, we can actualize the temporary and ultimate happiness. There is no greater kindness that to have received this human body. So therefore, the karma is very powerful. Then after, you have also at the same, the greatest also would be like, for example, your own teacher, the person who teach the Dharma, and particularly the teacher with the root teacher with the three kindnesses of having you enter into the mandala of your personal deity, giving you the instruction, and giving you also giving you a commentary and giving you the personal instruction. That way, the person who have those three kindnesses is said to be the highest support, okay, the higher kindness. Okay. So anyway, and then we have the stanza number 10. The 10 and 11 is in relation to the strive in a one-day precept. Okay, one-day precept. And here the stanza is split into different section. Okay, so we're going to read it fully first, and then after we're going to split it. Okay, so it's when one gives up causing harm, thieving, sexual activity, lying, attachment to eating when it's not time, delight in the high bed and seat, song, dance, and all sort of jewelry and alcohol. And then after, stanza 11 says, and takes the 8 branches that emulate the ethical discipline of liberated Arhat. This one-day precept will bestow on men and women an attractive body of the desire realm God. Okay, so there is in this tradition, for those who have gone for refuge fully into the teaching of the Buddha, there is this possibility to take vows. Okay, the vows, the vows of individual liberation vows. There is the vows of Bodhisattva and Tantra, and in terms of individual liberation vows, there are some that you take for life, which are called there is those of the lay person, and there is those of the ordained. Okay, and in terms of the lay person, you have those you have like there are 5. Okay, there are 5. So you can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is also this training on to push the practice, or to concentrate the practice when you have time, to spend the day like similar to the ethic of the monk. Okay, like it says Arhat here, but similar to the ethic of the monk. Okay, so you will take what we call the 8, the posada. It's called the posada for one day. So those vows are taken at dawn before sunrise, and they last for 24 hours. And the next day, when the day breaks, then the ordination is lost. Okay, so there is similar into the in the Mahayana. So those 8, they can be taken on the basis of individual liberation, and they are called posada. Okay, or they can be taken on the basis of bodhicitta, and they are called the 8 Mahayana precepts. Okay. For the posada, for those of individual liberation, you have to, every time you have to take them from someone who has a complete set of vows. For example, to take them, you will need to go to the monastery in the evening, okay, and at dawn you will have to go to an acharya or a monk, and they will you will grant the vows. There is a small ritual, and you will generate in your continuum those vows for 24 hours. Okay, so in the so it is not so convenient. In the Mahayana, it is the benefit are even greater, because the motivation is not just personal liberation, but it's the state of Buddhahood. So those 8 Mahayana precepts in terms of entity, they are the same. But due to motivation encompassing all sentient beings, being motivated by great compassion and encompassing all sentient beings, the benefit is like far superior. And the first time you have to receive them from someone, okay? So that person doesn't have to be a monk. It is just someone that is able to generate them in his continuum, and then you take them before dawn. Usually, it's before you can start to see the line in your hand, just before dawn. Okay, just before the light. And there is a ritual that you have to follow and things to repeat, and then you generate them in your continuum, and it is the same. They are valid for 24 hours. Okay, so once you have received them from someone, then after you can take on the practice whenever you want. You don't need to rely on someone the next time. Okay, so for example, if one time it is organized at the center, for example, there is someone that grants the 8 Mahayana precepts. So everything has to be done, before dawn, and then after you can decide on Sunday, to do that at your house or whatever. Okay, and the benefits are great, because there is really that big accumulation of virtue, but in particular, there is also a great purification of non-virtuous action. You see, because assuming those vows, they will purify the negativities accumulated since beginningless time in relation to those different activities, like stealing, like killing, like sexual misconduct, etc., lying, etc. Okay, so so basically that's it. You see, so you have 8. You have 2 are in relation to others, which is causing harm. It says give up causing harm. And stealing. Okay, this is done in relation to others. Then after you have sexual activities. So it means like for 24 hours you stop having sexual activity. It's not like sexual misconduct in this context. It's like for 24 hours you live like an ordained person, and this allowed you to strengthen aspect of your practice. On the same day you will study, you will contemplate, etc., and you voluntarily do not steal, do not take what has not been given. You stop harming others, and you stop also sexual activities for 24 hours. Then after, the lying is presented in terms of preserving from the degeneration, and so lying brings degeneration. And so lying principally is in relation to your own qualities. Okay, that's principally is in relation to your own qualities, but it can be extended. Lying is in general. Okay, and then establishing attentive recollection, so to help to keep the mind alert, fresh, alert, and conscientious, and aware, with great awareness. You stop eating at the wrong time. So basically, during those 8 Mahayana precepts, you will eat only once a day. Like the monks normally. They have breakfast also, but in terms of when you take the 8 Mahayana precept, you eat only one time before noon, okay, before noon. So you do that, and it will keep keep the mind from being sleepy, you see, during the day, so you can carry on meditation, etc. Delight in high bed, seats, song, dance, and all sort of jewelry, you see. So this is to eliminate attachment to sense object and to certain position, etc. Okay, and then also you abandon alcohol. Okay, for 24 hours you don't drink alcohol, which make the mind unclear, basically. Okay, so and after it takes these 8 branches to emulate the ethical discipline of the liberated Arhat. So the Arhat naturally, you see, naturally is beyond those activities. Naturally, for others like ordained people and lay people, they have to rely on precept, to facilitate the process of emerging from cyclic existence, because all of this attitude, they anchor us into cyclic existence. They disturb our mind. They makes very difficult to practice ethic, concentration, and wisdom. Okay, so this is to help the practice and to gather a great accumulation of virtue and to purify the mind. So basically, you see, realization, they mainly depend on 2 factors. It's not mainly, they depend on 2 factors. One is the purification of the mind, of the obscuration, all of these negativities that we have accumulated in beginner's time. They obstruct the mind from clear understanding. And the other is the accumulation of virtue, is gathering this virtuous energy that empower the mind to understand something which are deep and subtle. Okay, so if the main practice, you see, when we are at our level, is to accumulate as much virtue as possible and to purify the karma, negative imprints, as much as possible. And when the mind is ready, you see, then the realization, that just comes up. Lama Zopa used to say that when you have purified enough karma and accumulate enough virtue, even if you don't want realization, they will come to your mind, because it is the understanding of reality. Basically, a realization is when the mind, get in tune with reality. So you say you would just read a page of Lamarim, and you will gain the realization, because the mind has been purified and empowered. Okay. So I think that's 7:30. I'm supposed to stop here. Is there any question?
Yes, there is one question. It's already in English. So Sanal asks, why 8 Mahayana precepts one takes before the dawn?
Oh, why? I guess because it's for 20. That's the why exactly. I don't know. It's just the ritual, because the practice normally when you live this type of life dedicated to concentration and meditation and development of study and contemplation. The first session start before dawn, so it's maybe that's why. I don't know exactly. You suppose because the best hours to do meditation is before dawn. Basically, it's between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the morning. That's the best hours to meditate. For example, his holiness, you see, it wakes up at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then he does all this practice, and then after, from 8 onward, he has this social life. It is supposed to be the best, because also in the morning, you see, early in the morning, maybe without falling into this extreme of, because those hours are the hours that you tend to follow when you do retreat. You pretty much start the first session before you have to finish the first session basically before dawn. So you have to start the first session around like 4 o'clock. And because the mind is naturally still and is more clear. He hasn't been involved into all the conceptualization and discussion and the business of the day. Therefore, in the morning, it is very clear and it is easier for the mind to settle on its object. It's like a boom. This is more like natural, like boom, settling of the mind. See, it's like this. So yeah, maybe that's why.
Thank you. There is one more question Leon would like to ask by voice.
Mm-hmm.
Leon.
Has to unmute, yes.
Yes, thank you. Мне по-русски сначала задать или сразу могу на английском? Okay, I will, Venerable Olivier, I will ask in English. I want to ask about the generosity because it's the first thing that practitioners, involve himself or herself. And I'm asking about the, the proper level. I mean, usually when we do our things, we are not exposed to, maybe to teaching on emptiness. So we evaluate our, generosity. So sometimes we think how much to give, and sometimes we give and then think, oh, we give too much, and we become, irritated, agitated about the amount, or maybe we give too less, and then we think, oh, we were greedy, and so on. So I would ask about the measure, how to, your commentary on the measure of involvement in a practice, because sometimes with too much, maybe me, too much focus on the practice, and I maybe lose the idea with what mind I should do this. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So we have to train in things gradually. So in terms of generosity, you have to practice generosity in a way that it is completely devoid of any miserliness or attachment. Okay. Therefore, we can, for example, that's the problem. If you give too much, you see, then the mind will have difficulty to let go after. So you would see, oh, I should have not given too much, and everything is too much. Blah, blah. So this is, you see, the mind is not yet able to give up at that level. So you have to practice small and to be completely free. You see, there is no loss for you. It is completely devoid of miserliness and attachment. So that's the way we have to practice at the beginning, and slowly, by understanding the benefit of generosity, which is our best friend for future life. Okay, because due to generosity, there is wealth that comes naturally or easily. It is the best friend, you see, for future life. Then it will naturally grow. You see, so miserliness, it is the antidote of attachment, and generosity, it is the antidote of attachment and miserliness. Therefore, it is something that we have to practice as much as possible, because it is an antidote, and because of the benefit, knowing the result of this. So the thing is, if you can give, this amount, and you know that this amount you can give it without further thinking, that's the amount you should give. That's the amount you should give. And then slowly, you build up on it. Because if we regret after, then it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. You cancel your, somehow you're going to diminish your action of generosity, and the action becomes you create another action. But regretting generosity is not good, and also having others to regret their generosity is not good. Even according to you, you see someone giving a lot and it's too much for you, never tell to that person, oh, it's too much, you should not give that amount or whatever. You should rejoice. Okay, rejoice. That's very important. Regretting generosity is the say in the treatise. It is the cause to take rebirth on the preta, or to be deprived, or means of sustainment in the future. Okay, so better to practice small and completely free, completely immaculate, untainted by attachment and miserliness, and then slowly to build up. That's it.
There is one commentary, and I'm trying to understand commentary or question, and question. So commentary that generosity is a state of mind, not the amount of donation. Milarepa didn't have anything. And there is also a question. I'll write it. I'll tell it in Russian for the recordings, and Jenny will translate it for you. Добрый день, Гешела. В пример ставятся отшельники, подобные Миларепе, но по факту мало кто из монахов и мирян способен жить в такой крайней нищете и нужде. Зачем уделять такое внимание крайним проявлениям аскезы, если большинство на это не способно?
Okay, so there is like two things. Wait, I have to change this.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So there's two things. First, in terms of Milarepa, the fact that you live in this level of asceticism, it is not made for everybody. Okay, Milarepa was a very particular individual, and he created a lot of negativities in the first part of his life because he killed like 7 people or something like this. And then after, he was a very, very particular individual. It's like Naropa. So those beings, they come to illustrate reading their biography. It's an extremely beneficial because it is very inspiring. But we are not Milarepa. We are not Naropa. Okay, so the treatment that they received from their teacher were very, very particular. They were like top disciple, and they were like top masters. You know, their teacher were Masidas. Okay, so we should not think that we are going to practice like Milarepa, because that's not realistic. Okay, we have to start at our level, and anyway, it is not this to you even don't need. You can attain, like for example, if we look at Marpa attained the state of Buddhahood, having a family life. He had a wife, he had a son, I think too, and he was a farmer. He was cultivating his field, and he attained the state of Vajradhara. See, so there is no need, you know, to think that to practice the spiritual life or to attain realization, you need to give up everything and to live out of nothing, eating grass, nettles like Milarepa in a cave. That's not the meaning. That's not the meaning. Yeah, if you can't, it's good. Okay, but that's not the meaning. This doesn't mean that you don't have that making retreat is necessary. There is a period where retreat are necessary, and at some point you have to live in solitary and emphasize meditation and everything. But you see, if you don't have that level of realization and of quality, then being deprived and living in this type of condition will become an obstacle for us to develop realization and to stay in retreat. Okay, so we have to practice at the level as we have, you know, and it is not, it is nowhere written that you need to practice like Milarepa, you know, like living out of nothing and eating nettles, you know, and yeah, to gain the state of to gain realization or to gain the liberation. This is not, it's not. If you can, it's good, but it's not necessary. Not necessary. And what was the other question is about generosity. Yeah, Milarepa, yeah, he didn't have anything, but what he offers his practice. Okay, he offers his body, he offers his practice, his service to his guru during so many times. So there is a type of generosity, nevertheless, and as we have said, you know, generosity is intention to give, and yeah, and so yeah, he give his body, he give his service to Marpa, okay, and it was very hard. I mean, you probably that person read the life of Milarepa and understood, you know, what type of practice he has to carry on to purify these negativities and to accumulate virtue. So it is nevertheless a form of generosity. It is nevertheless a form of giving, because he gave himself to his teacher. So yeah, that's the type of generosity. And every time that he had something, it was, I think he would giving it to Marpa. And even when the first time he met Marpa, with the little money he had, he brought like a cauldron, you know, this like a pot. He brought this pot to Marpa, and actually this pot was empty, and Marpa said that it was a sign of unauspiciousness. So even the little money he has, he never spent it. He spent it and he offered this to Marpa. And due to offering this empty pot to his guru, then this is why when he was in retreat, Milarepa had a lot of difficulties to find food. This is what the text says. Anyway.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Venerable. It was a final question for today.
Okay. So the thing is, we start at our level, okay? We start where we are, and we try to improve, develop our qualities, ethic and generosity, patience, you see? And then maybe one day we'll be able to do like Milarepa, but we have to be yeah, aware of our capacities, ability. Okay. Thank you very much, all. And yeah, thank you for your attention. Thank you, Xenia, for translation, and Anastasia and the other for organization. Give me the opportunity to share with you. And yeah, hope to see you next week. Okay.
Shall we conclude with the prayers?
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Посвящение заслуг. В силу этой добродетели да достигну я быстро состояния гуру Будды и приведу всех без исключения существ-скитальцев к этому просветленному состоянию. Пусть драгоценная высшая бодхичита, та, что не породилась, да породится, а та, что породилась, да не ослабеет, но возрастает все больше и больше. И давайте посвятим заслуги его святейшеству Далай-ламе. В этой стране, окруженной снежными горами, ты источник всего счастья и благоденствия, всемогущий Ченрези Тензин Гьяцо, да пребудут твои лотосовые стопы в этом мире до конца сансары. И давайте посвятим заслуги скорейшему возвращению ламы Сопа Ринпоче в новом теле, тому, чтобы он как можно быстрее было обнаружено его новое перерождение, чтобы он смог продолжить все свои деяния, которые он совершал в этой жизни. Спасибо большое досточтимому Оливье за это замечательное учение. Спасибо.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you all for your attention, and the other for your work. And yeah, see you next week. Okay, if you want.